Okay, today we're going to be installing some JayCee Pushrod Tubes. These are tubes with these spring-loaded tubes. Looks just like the one in the picture. The instructions are pretty good online from CB Performance. However, they don't talk too much about the O-ring installation, and you don't even notice over on this end that there is a big washer that you actually install on the female end. And that's going to be the side closest to the cylinder heads. This is going to be towards the crankcase, and this is going to be towards the cylinder heads. Okay, so let's assemble one of these guys. This is an assembled one, and we're going to make one look just like this. So we start off with this. It comes usually in a little box, and these are already assembled. Your washer's going to go on the female end, like I said, and these little rubber gaskets are going to go in these two grooves right here on the male end. So let's put those on. There goes one. And there goes two. Okay, I didn't apply any oil to them yet because it's actually, but we will get to that point in a minute. And now we need one of these. These are these. I guess these are the washers. I probably was saying these are O-rings we installed here. So this O-ring goes right here. And the set that came from CB Performance had these final gaskets, the sealing gaskets for the ends for either end, but Elring makes these white ones, which I've heard from what I can tell online. People say that the white ones are a little more soft, a little more squishy. They feel like they're and these are a little bit of a harder, more durable plastic, but I think these apparently work better, so we'll go with the white ones and see how it goes. We're gonna go here like this after we put that. There we go. Makes a nice seal on that end, and then we're gonna do one more of these, and we're gonna put it on the male end. It does not get one of these aluminum backing washers. Only the female end does, again. So I push it down so that there is a tiny bit of steel sticking out, or aluminum sticking out, a little metal. From what I can tell from the old pushrod tubes, if you don't do that, sometimes it'll cut through the gasket. And now, before we assemble them, we want to oil this whole portion. Oh, and also, I found that when I stuck my finger in here, I actually got some grit out. Sure enough, there's more grit. These aren't brand new. I did not get these messed up, but there is some leftover bits of grit from when they machined them. And obviously, that'll just end up in the oil down in the sump, and I think the engine will be much more happy if we get rid of all that stuff before we install anything. So I'm just running my finger in there, and I can actually feel, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little tiny piece of metal right there on my finger, and we got that off. Alright, so now we're going to take some oil. I'm just going to dip my finger in here, and we're going to go inside this female tube, get it nice and oiled. Now I'm using just one hand. I want to keep the outside of the tubes not oiled, because otherwise we're going to have a really hard time installing these. So oil on the inside of the tube only, please. Just a tiny bit more. It doesn't say to do this, but I go ahead and oil the gaskets side, so that, because these are supposed to slide in nice and easy. So we did that, and I don't want to get oil everywhere, so I'm going to wipe off my finger with oil free. All right, so now comes the spring. And you can actually turn it on there. It has to get past both of the gaskets. It seats almost right on one of the gaskets, but once we compress this thing, it won't. There's the two gaskets and the spring. We're just gonna pull the spring back a little bit. I'm gonna gently move these over, and it's a pretty tight fit. There it goes. Can you give it a little adjustment, turn it a little bit, get the oil all the way around there. So now we have an assembled tube. So we can take our assembled tube and we can go install it on the engine. It does require a fair amount of force to get these going, and the beauty of this is as the engine heats up, things expand, and that means that the actual cylinders get a little bit further away from the crankcase, the heads, the distance between the two, and so this will help expand with that and keep the oil inside the tubes along with the push rods. So let's go over to the engine. Here you can see some that were already installed by me, and we cleaned both surfaces really well, as you'll clearly want to do. Some people want to put oil in there. I don't think that's the best idea, because I want these to seat firmly and then the oil can find its way around it if it needs to. So I push this end in first, and then I'm going to push it up into here, into that end. So if I get in close here, first I find that end, and then I want to get this one right below that end. And this requires a fair amount of force. It's actually probably easier to do it in the engine as far as force pushing it away from the engine stand here. But there, it's all compressed. I'll bring it up. Come on. There we go. A little bit more. There. And just make sure it's nice. Wiggle it around a little bit and get it fully seated. And there we have it. And there you can see all four of the brand new tubes. All right, enjoy.